While several characters from the books are sure to join the fold in the Wheel of Time Season 3, there's a few I expect will get cut from the story altogether. Given the sheer size of each Wheel of Time book and the overall length of the series, it's not surprising the Prime Video's adaptation has had to trim a few things. Not only has that approach resulted in some dropped storylines, but it's also coming at the cost of certain figures from the Wheel of Time's rich library of characters. The show's willingness to remove characters from the narrative was made clear within its first 2 seasons. It didn't escape my attention that the Green Man, Agina, and Balthamel were all missing from Rand's visit to the Eye of the World in the Season 1 finale. And when the search for the Horn of Valir from the Great Hunt kicked off in Season 2, Hurin was curiously absent from the adventure. I'd be surprised if the show doesn't take the same approach to The Shadow Rising, the book that will serve as the basis of Wheel of Time Season 3's story. 4. Gaul. Gaul helped Perrin defend the 2 rivers in The Shadow Rising. Gaul, an Ale warrior, was one of the principal characters in Perrin's Shadow Rising arc. The show is clearly gearing up for that story, as trailers have already previewed Perrin's involvement in the Battle of the 2 Rivers. The setup indicates it'll be accurate to the books in most respects. Dane Bornald is likely to be there and Fail Basir is already confirmed for Season 3's cast. But I think it'll diverge from the books where Gaul is concerned, especially after Avienda's introduction in Season 2. Avienda being freed by Perrin and subsequently owing him a life debt was oddly reminiscent of the dynamic that Perrin formed with Gaul in The Dragon Reborn. I don't see the books repeating this storyline with another character, so my suspicion is that Gaul's role as a loyal ally to Perrin has been replaced with Avienda, who didn't previously have a meaningful connection to the Wolf Brother. 3. Duelin Sandar. Duelin Sandar helped Nynaeve and Elaine hunt the Black Odger in The Shadow Rising. Elaine and Nynaeve look on in Wheel of Time. If he's removed, Duelin Sandar would arguably be the biggest character the Wheel of Time has cut to date. A thief-catcher, bounty hunter, from Tear, Duelin Sandar is a supporting figure in several of Elaine and Nynaeve's stories, with his first appearance occurring in The Dragon Reborn. The show is skipping this, but could theoretically move his introduction to Tanchico since he does accompany Nynaeve and Elaine there. As much as I'd enjoy his presence, I have doubts about this happening, particularly with the marketing signaling that Matt will be with them. Matt replacing Duelin Sandar won't be hard for the show to do. And what's more, it already has a massive cast. Duelin would give the series one more character to juggle for seasons to come. 2. Berelain. Berelain was a major political figure in the Wheel of Time. Wheel of Time Dragon Reborn cover. Evidently, the Wheel of Time is either removing the Dragon Reborn from the narrative or changing its place in the timeline. The book version of Rand went from Farm, The Great Hunt, to Tear, The Dragon Reborn, and then to the Ale Waste, The Shadow Rising. By avoiding a full-season adaptation of The Dragon Reborn, the show has raised questions about where Tear fits into the equation. The Stone of Tear definitely exists in the Wheel of Time's show, but may not be visited anytime soon. If that's the case, Rand probably won't meet the beautiful and seductive leader of Tear, Berelain. Since Tear is where the story left off at the end of The Dragon Reborn, it's the first major setting in The Shadow Rising. That allowed Berelain to develop a big presence in the first few chapters, partially as a source of jealousy for Elaine. But with the trailers suggesting that the story will begin in Tar Valon instead of Tear, there won't be an obvious place for Berelain. 1. Bilal. Bilal fought Rand before the Shadow Rising story. 2 statues of the Forsaken sitting on a table in Wheel of Time Season 1. One of the 13 Forsaken in the Wheel of Time, Bilal was the final adversary of Rand Ulthor in The Dragon Reborn. Knowing that the Dragon Reborn would eventually try to claim Calendar, Bilal waited for him at the Stone of Tear, and wound up getting killed by Moiraine. Because this victory is such an important moment for Moiraine, I expect the TV series will try to honor it at least to some degree, but I doubt the adaptation will include Bilal. After all, the ending of The Dragon Reborn was really the extent of Bilal's contribution to the narrative, with the show seemingly reducing the number of Forsaken from 13 to 8, it's hard to imagine Bilal being among the villains it keeps. It would make more sense that if and when the show does find room for Rand's trip to the Stone of Tear, it'll give the role of his opponent to a more prominent member of the Forsaken.